All right, welcome back, everybody. Well, today we're going to spin the clock back to 1978 to the Cars debut album. This is Good Times Roll by the Cars. And yeah, even though it's 1978, this is timeless, right? It's on classic rock radio forever. Doesn't matter what genre, it seems like it's always on the radio. Just a great piece of work. So, very interesting guitar on here, and it's very accessible to beginner and beginner intermediate players, even the guitar lead. But I'm going to take you through all the rhythm guitar parts and the lead guitar and break down each one of them. And I'm going to take you through the intro, and if you're like me, you had trouble counting that in, like you're not sure where the downbeat is during that whole intro, and I've got a special treat for you. I'm going to talk you through all of that here. Okay, so if this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please jump down and click subscribe if you haven't done so, and ring the bell. Bell lets you know when I drop new content. I do that every single week. And hey, all my videos have chapters in them, so you can jump right to the part of the lesson that you want to see and bypass what you don't. And if you're looking for other ways to support the channel, I appreciate that. There's thanks, just like throwing a tip in the tip jar. Or even better, you can join my Patreon, where I've got chord charts, tabs, and guitar profiles for all my Patreon members. Links in the description, so check it out. All right, so Good Times Roll. This is super fun. And like I said, it's kind of easy. So we're going to break down these parts here one by one. And before I actually start playing the actual parts, I'm going to take you on a little journey here. So if you're like me, when you would hear that sort of intro kick on the radio, you know, you'd hear that and you'd like be tapping your foot or finding the beat or whatever, and then the lyrics would come in and they would sort of throw you off a little bit, and then the whole band comes in and you're like, whoa, that was not where I was. I lost where the one was. So listen, I'm going to spin you over to my PC real quick, and I'm going to break it down for you, and let's look at where that beat is during that whole intro. You'll never listen to that intro the same way again. Here, check it out. Okay, so here we are in Guitar Pro. I use this software to create the tabs for all my Patreon members, and I also export these files for Patreon members as well. If they happen to have Guitar Pro software, they can import them, and I'm going to talk about that and what that means later. But for now, I'm going to show you here how you can think about this intro that he does, and how we can think about the beat and the actual rhythm, how it is. Okay, so I've got it all mapped out here. I've got Ric Ocasek's guitar. It's going to sound a little different, obviously, because this is just software approximating guitar, but it's pretty good. But so here's just the intro, just with Ric's guitar here. Give this a listen. So you sort of like feel like the one is like, I always feel like the one is with this first note here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, and like that's what's stuck in my head, and I think it's a lot of people stuck in their head, and it's actually not. That last little note there is actually the and of the previous measure, so it's sort of like 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1 and 2 and. So that little piece right there that sneaks in this thing, that little stab, that's on the 2 and, okay? But it doesn't feel like that. So here's how you can sort of think about it, right? So the clue on the actual record, there is a clue. There's a very faint sort of synth hit or synthesizer note that matches where this note here, which is actually the downbeat, and that's where the snare is going to come in. So I don't have that actual sound. I've approximated it with this conga, so it's going to sound a little goofy, but this is where those fall. Give this a listen. Right? But that's still not enough for me. Maybe you caught that. It's still not enough for me, right? But let me switch it to a hi-hat at that same interval that those congas were, the synthesizer is. Now listen to this. feel the different rhythm there? Let me make it a little more obvious. I'll put in a hi-hat and a snare, okay? Here, this is gonna totally clue you in. Here you go. So that is the groove. And I'll just follow this through until the whole band kicks in. Or the part where the whole band kicks in. I don't have the whole band in here. Here you go. Right? It's the same beat. It just clicks in seamlessly. There you go. Oh, that's loud. Anyway, I just wanted to say that is how you sort of think about that beat. So that first note that you hit is actually not the one in it. And so now that you've heard that, I think you'll listen to that a little bit differently. Lastly, like I said, all my Patreon members get an export of the files that I create like this, and they can import it, and they can see all down here. Here's Ric's guitar, here's the overdub rhythm guitar, which I'll talk about in the lesson, and Elliot Easton's lead. You know, all these are broken out separately. It's super, super user-friendly. And yeah, that's right. All my Patreon members not only get the tabs, PDFs that you can download, but you actually have the Guitar Pro files that you can import if you happen to get that Guitar Pro software. And not sponsored or anything, but there is a link down below where you can get that software. I highly recommend it if you found that helpful watching that demo. Okay, so let's go right to the part. So we just heard that intro, right? And you've sort of got a new feel of where the one is on that, right? Okay, first things first. So we're in standard tuning. You want to dial up some healthy overdrive, not too much, but here's the sound that I got. And all the details of my signal chain, by the way, are going to be in the description, so you can check that out. But I'm using my OCD for my my overdrive / distortion sound on this particular track. I'm on my bridge pickup here, and we're in a big B chord. And what you're going to find here is a lot of Ric Ocasek's playing, or Ric Ocasek, I don't know. I'm going to say Ric Ocasek. And you can, a lot of his playing on a lot of the songs, especially the early ones, he's got this great, you know, feel where he's just playing very muted and simple power chords like root fifth or root fifth root. That's kind of it. And Elliot plays all the flourishes and the keyboard. Greg Hawkes, he's playing everything to complement, but he holds everything down as a very straight rhythm man. Doing that, and he does this whole song. All his parts are very, very simple. So we're going to start off with a B chord, and we're only going to play strings 6, 5, 4, right? And then we're going to do our upstroke to catch those. So the interesting part on this is that you're going to pick that 7th fret 6th string, and then you're going to just take your finger up a little bit, and you're going to catch the harmonic. Right, just touching it right above the fret. Don't push the string down, but right above the 7th fret. Right, you can get that going on. But I pretty much fret the whole chord, even though I'm not playing those other strings. So that's what you want to practice. Right? And then we're going to do our upstroke on that sting on the 1st and 2nd string. Come down to our A. Right, easy peasy. Down to our G. And we alter our rhythm a little bit. That's all there is to it. Very easy bar chords. You're just playing those power chords, and then it's an E. Then it's just a basic cowboy E at the end. And he's always indexing or emphasizing the low strings. Then you're back to the top. Right? If you want to sort of feel the groove. Give yourself one of those every once in a while. So you can feel where that groove is. So that's the verse part, right? And the pre-chorus and the chorus. It just runs through again. When it goes to the guitar solo, the rhythm guitar that's happening behind it is just going to travel from a B to an A to a G, you know, 2 measures in each. Back to it. So that's all Ric's parts. That's taking you through the whole thing. The only thing that's different is on the very end, on the outro, they do that same thing that they just did during the chorus, where you're B, A to G. They do that 3 times. The 3rd time is the big ending, right? So there's an interesting thing that's happening on the guitar there. Ric, and I believe it's Ric's guitar part, he does. It's either his guitar or the other rhythm guitar, but I think it's his guitar because I know what the other rhythm guitar actually is doing. So again, that's how Ric ends it. Now there's a second rhythm guitar that comes in during the verses, and it's just emphasizing slightly different pattern on the rhythm chords, where Ric's doing, right? This second guitar is the whole way, follows the chords, and you can hear it. If you put it on headphones, Ric is on one side, I forget, right or left. Ric is on one side. Ric is the guitar that opens the whole thing. This other guitar might have been Ric overdubbed, I'm not sure. Fully panned to the other side. So you can hear them sort of counter and balancing them out. But he's doing that whole time. Whoops. G. Keeps going. Now it's sort of ambiguous what E he hits. I seem to hear this E going on. We're talking about the lead guitar in just a minute, but I think somebody, if you're playing in a multi-guitar band, have somebody hit that big E chord. Because Ric's doing this one. So play another one. And get those E and B strings ringing out. So anyway, that's that whole part. It just takes you through the entire song. And he ends with just the 2 big chords. At the very end. That's all there is to his. Lead guitar, Elliot Easton, one of my favorite lead players of all time. Everything that guy does is super tasty, and it's just so I don't know if he thinks them out or not, but like you can sing his solos. They're beautiful, you know. So it plays the lead. You know, he's got the lead guitar and sort of some embellishments throughout, and there's also there's a little bit of a slapback on it. So I'm going to add that on. I'm going to change my pickup to the middle setting just because. Okay, so the first part where I really think the lead guitar shows up is well, during Good Times Roll, during the chorus, right? Good. Right? And he plays this. I'm going to turn my volume down to clear it up a little bit. So he does this. It's straight down, sort of a, well, it's not quite an E major scale, but it's the, so you're starting here on your E note, and you're going to let these number 1 and number 2 strings, pick them up individually, arpeggiate those, and let them ring, right? Down 2 frets to the D, down 1. So those are the notes you're hitting. You're just alternating the others with it. Right, and then you're back into the groove, but just beautiful little part. And then the actual solo, so there's soloing, the soloing, let me turn this off for a second. The soloing is happening, remember, where the chords are moving 2 measures of B, an A, G, and or big E. So, kicking my delay back on. So what his part is going to come up with our little double stop here on a B. Right? Just plain old rock and roll. We're going to slide up 2 frets and then down to your A. Just right there, all in those first 2 strings. And remember, so this is an A chord. And look, right here, if you were to make an A chord, right here on the 3rd string is the next note that you're going to go to. So you're just going to play the major 3rd of that A and carry it down to your A note down here. Next chord is going to go to a G, and the way they transition to that G, or the way he transitions to the G, is he slides up here on his 4th string from 2 to 4, catches that A again, then slides back down, pulls off that D, and then you grab your G note, right? Grab my G that way because the rest of the lick, I sort of need my fingers over here to do this, and if I do a full G chord like that or like that, I have to come up here and do something different. So I'll thumb over and grab that G, and I catch this on the top end, but the little flourish that he does here, catch that little pull off from 4 on the G string, right? And then he alternates between the 5th fret and the 4th fret. You're back in it. So that solo all together one time. same all the way to the very last, on the outro. He does those same 3 times. On the 3rd time in the last one, I think that's his part. That's where Rick is ending with the. So, it's my opinion anyway. Okay, so that, my friends, was Good Times Roll by the Cars, and I hope you learned something new today. If this is the kind of thing that you like and you haven't done so yet, please subscribe. It helps me out a lot. Ring the bell. The bell will let you know when I drop new content. I do that every single week. Let me know in the comments what you thought about this, and if there's another song you want me to take on and do a lesson similar, let me know what that is too. But until next week, take care, everybody.